Hey folks, your OS Reviews. You're watching our video first look and hands-on review of the Grush. Now this claims to be a smart toothbrush that uses Bluetooth to connect to a companion app on iOS or Android. It's geared towards kids to make the process of brushing your teeth more interactive and to help hopefully allow them to brush longer in addition to getting more parts of the teeth and not just the front before rinsing it out. This is an interesting kind of project that was originally started on Makers, which is a US-based television show, kind of similar in a sense to Shark Tank. And afterwards, there was a round of Indiegogo campaign. So you probably have seen this before in some form of media if you are looking at kind of funded projects. And if we take a quick look at the packaging, it's pretty simple. Grush is now available on Amazon, and it retails for under $50, which is a fair price to pay for a pretty good electronic toothbrush as is. If you compare it to something like a Sonicare, but it also has these kind of smart elements that puts a twist on that traditional design. So this is what it looks like. The tips are of course removable, so they can swap them out for refills when they get used, and the app itself has been launched in several countries, including Japan and Korea, and you can see that there are 3 brush heads that are included. It takes, I believe, just a standard AAA battery to operate, which will last 3 months, and then you can download again the app using your phone on Bluetooth. It's waterproof, so again, it's going to be fairly rugged and again, hopefully interactive. So the packaging here also includes a QR code that you can scan to download the game, which also includes a analysis component that adults can use to track how long kids have been brushing their teeth, what parts of the teeth, and it actually tells you as part of the game what part and what positions to use to get access to all of your teeth. So kind of interesting. So this is a user's guide that you can see is documented in full color, how to install the battery, how to install the game, and then when the game starts, again, you can see this animated kind of icon of where to go next in terms of position, and it's going to give you a realistic kind of score guide, and also there's a tracking technology built on it, which is pretty interesting. So here we have the 2 brush heads, which have a different color that can be swapped out. It includes the AAA battery the first time as part of the packaging. They also sent over some kind of ads so you can get a better idea of what it looks like. Now the phone is a pretty critical component if you want to use it for the interactive games. So make sure that it's nearby, and they have it displayed in kind of the suction cup holder, which could be useful if you have a phone stand in the bathroom. And some other basic information and kind of a phone stand or a media stand again for the phone. This is not perhaps as part of the retail packaging, but it came included in this media kit. So here we have the toothbrush itself. If we remove it first, again, it is mainly geared for kids, which is why it's very lightweight. The entire thing is made out of polycarbonate plastic. There are a few rubber accents for the switches, but all in all, it's definitely lighter than something like a Sonicare toothbrush or even a Time Machine. If you guys remember, that was a very early kind of kids electronic toothbrush that tried to make the process feel fun. There is the company's logo. Everything is pretty tightly sealed, and of course I can kind of twist on the bottom barrel here to have access to the battery compartment. Let's take a closer look at the game and the performance next. When first installing the batteries, how it does the location tracking of the teeth is actually through accelerometers or gravity sensors in the unit. So when you first put in batteries, it needs to be calibrated by being placed horizontally like this. So make sure that it can lie flat on your hand or on a tabletop for calibration. Once the LED lights stop flashing, you're ready to go, and you can then connect it using Bluetooth on your phone. You can do this in 2 ways. You can either manually go into Bluetooth settings and connect it, or you can simply download the app, and inside the app it will automatically be detected and will pair naturally, which is pretty good. Here's what the app looks like. You can see the icon here is pretty colorful. Again, it's free for Android and iOS. I wouldn't say the animations here are amazing or the best game ever, but for kids it is good enough, and you can see that it's colorful. It's almost like a comic book in how it's designed. From this main interface, we can take a look at things such as whether the Bluetooth has been paired. I can take a look at my tracking data, so after each session I can take a look at this 3D representation of the teeth for adults to see if every area of the teeth has been covered, and it's also going to map that by color, whether it's good, fair, or poor as far as coverage. And then of course I can take a look at other historical data saved from the various games. I can also rotate my teeth to look at the insides, rotate it back. So very clever in how everything is designed. Definitely you can see that dentists and doctors were involved in this process. It actually seems quite precise, and the data here useful. So let's return back into the main menu. You can see that it is a little sluggish from the kind of software side of things, but overall the thought process here is very clever. So tapping on play, it's very simple, and you can see that location tracking begins automatically. Just in this regular position, nothing happens if I tap on OK once it's paired. You have to be horizontal, you have to be located in your teeth for you to tap on OK for the entire process to begin. And from here, if I brush it, you can see that up and down, left and right, these motions will correspond to the movements on screen. So it uses the gravity sensor or the accelerometer to get every single area of your teeth covered up. So you can kind of see how the process works. And for the most part, it's actually surprisingly responsive. You can then stop the tracking, for instance, and you can get a score based on, of course, how much coins and areas and germs you've collected in real time. You can see that movement still continues. It's pretty powerful as far as the vibration sensor. Definitely feels like a Sonicare toothbrush, so you can no doubt get a pretty deep clean of your teeth when you're using it. And then of course you can see that the moving elements of the game will continue and last for roughly 2 minutes per session when this goes to 0. So it gets you, hopefully an entire coverage of your teeth, in addition to being able to be pretty fun and interactive for kids. So you can defeat the enemies and collect coins. Let's go back and quit the game. So that's the basic ergonomics of Grush. I think that, again, the game itself, although it's not perfect, it does have a very clever concept, and the tracking itself works surprisingly well using just accelerometer and Bluetooth to operate. The toothbrush itself doesn't have a manual power on or off key, so what you notice is that the lights here will always be on regardless of whether it's paired or disconnected. So that's something to quickly keep in mind. Also, the design of the brush isn't flat at the bottom or the base, which means that you probably need to have it in a holder or in a cup when you're done, as opposed to just placing it flat on a surface like some Sonicare toothbrushes can, so it will topple over since it's round. Perhaps in a future generation model, if it is slightly more expensive, I would like to see a rechargeable battery, and again a flat base. I think that makes a bit more sense in terms of ergonomics, and maybe even a cap as an accessory for travel. But right now this is really lightweight, the brush itself is surprisingly powerful, and the location tracking is actually very clever. It's an interesting piece of technology that I think is in the right direction to get kids to brush their teeth more responsibly. So you can check out more details about Grush in our article coming out soon, but for now this has just been our video hands-on review. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. This is a look at Grush, kind of the first intelligent Bluetooth connected toothbrush for kids.